It really tells you that whatever you are doing is something truly amazing when you have a large group of highly dedicated fans that will not rest until the goal they have set for themselves gets achieved. All across social media, YouTube, and other streaming platforms, there are those who will go out of their way to get something they want. Whether that's for a certain adaptation to be made, a movie or TV show to be produced, or in this case, a game series that had been left at the mercy of a certain nightmarish foe within Dead Space 3. In this video, we'll be going through the history of the Dead Space movement, who was led by a YouTuber that I actually used to watch known as JKP Rising, who had in their horizon a goal to be made whole once again with the release of Dead Space 4. Now, this is the reason as to why I don't really get the arguments that had been presented to us a year ago when some YouTubers were telling EA to go do one when the reveal of the remake came out, as it may not be what people were wanting to be made for our entertainment, but it is something that gives us hope as to what will come after with a possible Dead Space 4 coming to us. The Dead Space movement began in 2017, where JKP Rising had taken it upon himself to bring Dead Space back into the limelight after 4 years after the release of Dead Space 3, in which he would create several videos building up the hype for the content to be in the future making. With some of his videos being missing for this history lesson, I could not find the origin to what had inspired him to create this following. However, perhaps it was his love for the series as a whole, and wanting to continue the venture into the dark corners of this once great universe. The aspiring YouTuber would make a video on January 2017 where he would go into detail about the possibility of having the voice actors of the series appear on his channel to be interviewed by him in hopes of adding them to the movement's roster and to get an exclusive with their thoughts on the series, among other things. With his interview with Gunnar Wright being something that he had previously done, and he had shown the conversations through the emails with the various voice actors. However, a week later, he would talk on backwards compatibility for the next generation of gaming, with those being the Xbox One consoles, where JKP would tell his audience where they can vote for the Dead Space games to become available to play on the new consoles. He would also voice his optimism about Dead Space gaining a voice within the world and the people that are supporting the movement. The next day, JKP Rising would upload a new video the following day, on the 21st of January 2017, talking on an article that heavily hints towards the possibility of the Dead Space series not being over just yet, with JKP telling his audience that the development of Dead Space 4 could be in production, voicing his praise for the movement. He would tell his audience to continue pressing EA for a Dead Space 4 in the near future. On March 2017, the Dead Space movement would reach a new high with the response from Visceral Games, with a fan asking them if Dead Space 4 could be a possibility, and they would respond with, "There is always a chance if enough people want it." JKP Rising would be ecstatic at this point, becoming hyped, with him pushing his viewers to press EA for the next series for Dead Space. Over the following months, Tanya Clark would announce that she would join forces with the movement, attempting to get a response from EA at the corporate level so that Dead Space 4 will be commissioned, with the movement becoming that much stronger. JKP Rising would continue to make discussion videos about the future of the Dead Space franchise, reaching over to July in 2017. However, due to the failings of Visceral Games in the prospects they were commissioned to complete, whether those were helping other studios in producing their games, or with the Star Wars single-player game, the studio itself would eventually be seen to be slowly dying, with nothing getting done on time and other complications happening behind the scenes, would eventually turn the corporate level of EA against the studio, and they would eventually see them as a liability, costing them too much money and getting nothing back, which would lead into the mercy killing that is the departure of Visceral Games. After the destruction at the hands of Electronic Arts, JKP Rising would make one last video on the shutdown of Visceral Games, with him explaining what happened behind the scenes, or at least the short story of the events. However, where many would allow their beliefs of Dead Space 4's production to slowly fade from their mind and out of existence entirely, JKP would keep his optimism about the movement, and would tell his audience that this was to be a mere speed bump in the franchise's history, and a new developer will take their place. However, many, including myself, believed that the movement was about bringing in support for the next Dead Space game to be developed. However, JKP would tell everyone in this video that the movement was never just to be about that, but to build hype up for Dead Space with speculations, interviews, theories, and what-ifs, which would eventually make Dead Space a hot topic, and that would make EA think that a game would sell really well in this period of time, which is in fact what had begun last year, seeming as Dead Space back then was trending. After this revelation, JKP Rising would continue to make videos, but would instead steer away from the Dead Space movement and into other types of content such as the Halo series, and in creating his own studio, refurbishing part of his home to continue his work. Regardless of the outcomes of this movement, can we just all take a moment to give our respect to the legend that is JKP Rising, that kept Dead Space afloat throughout 2017, and who knows how long EA had been hiding the remake from us. Perhaps it was the movement that had spurred their hand into action. If anyone would like to see all of JKP Rising's videos on Dead Space and the movement as a whole, I'll put a link in the description for the playlist. Thank you for watching this short video on the Dead Space movement. If you enjoyed your stay, then hit the like button. Comment your thoughts below and I look forward to hearing from you. Sign up to join the British Alliance today by subscribing to the channel and ringing in the notification bell, allowing all updates so that you are always notified whenever a new video comes out. And I will see all of you among the cosmos, and be sure to have a good one.